freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.
Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives, and I'm your host, Bruce Anthony. Thank you for listening and watching wherever you get your podcasts and video podcasts. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and rate us. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at unsolicited_perspectives. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok at unsolicited_PER. Watch us live now. Watch us live every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. Our audience continues to grow with each and every episode, and I humbly thank you.
On today's episode, I'll be interviewing Miss Marilyn Notmonroe, as she is known on social media. We're going to be talking about her life, her hobbies, sex work, and porn. But first things first. Hey there, podcast listeners. It's Bruce Anthony here, and welcome to another episode of Unsolicited Perspectives. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind lately, the importance of staying hydrated and taking care of ourselves. Whether it's prioritizing our health and wellness, or gearing up for festival seasons, or just gearing up for whatever season or time of year, there's one brand that's been my go-to for all things hydration, Liquid IV. Speaking of health and wellness, let's dive into how Liquid IV can fuel your well-being. Imagine starting your day off right, feeling refreshed and energized. Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier is the missing piece in your daily routine. With just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. It's perfect for those early mornings, pre-workout boosts, moments when you're just feeling run down, or even after a late night or long flights. I absolutely love how convenient Liquid IV is. The packaging makes it easy to bring with me wherever I go. And let me tell you, it's become a vital daily part of my routine. The flavors, let me tell you something, they're incredible. From refreshing sea berry and strawberry lemonade to classics like lemon lime and watermelon, there's a flavor for every preference. It's like a burst of hydration with a hint of deliciousness. Picture this. 1 stick of Liquid IV mixed in 16 ounces of water, hydrating you 2 times faster and more efficient than water alone. And with 12 mouth-watering and flavors, you'll never get bored with your hydration routine. Plus, Liquid IV is packed with 5 essential vitamins: B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course, vitamin C. It's also made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, free of gluten, dairy, and soy. This is hydration at its finest. But it doesn't stop there. Liquid IV believes that access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. That's why they partner with leading organizations, finding innovative solutions to help communities protect both their water and their futures. It's incredible to know that Liquid IV has already donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world. They truly walk the talk. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code UNSOLICITED at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code UNSOLICITED at liquidiv.com. Remember, folks, taking care of ourselves should always be a priority. So why wait? Head over to liquidiv.com, pick your favorite flavors, and experience hydration like never before. Stay refreshed, stay hydrated, and keep rocking those unsolicited perspectives. 20 years ago, I had an idea. I had an idea to start an internet radio show, and how that came about was, as some of you guys know, I used to own a piece of a professional wrestling company here in the DC area, and one of my partners had an internet radio show and asked me to come on and promote the upcoming show that we were going to be doing. And I had a great time. And they even got me to express a little bit about my private life. And I had the idea of doing an internet radio show with my brother and my sister. Because as you know, as you've met my sister, there's a lot of personality. And my brother has probably even more personality than both of us. So 20 years, I've been thinking about doing a show. And through the past 20 years, it's evolved as technology has evolved. And what became an internet radio show. Later on, became an idea of a podcast. And I've been pushing around the idea of a podcast since the pandemic started. So over the last 3 years. And then finally, last year, I did start a podcast. And the idea of the podcast, going all the way back to the internet radio show, was about creating a platform where I could share my perspectives, because as y'all know, I'm very opinionated, and they're unsolicited. Well, actually, I guess they're solicited. No, it's unsolicited. Even though you're tuning into the show, it's unsolicited. My perspectives, and then I went into engage in passionate conversations about a variety of things in life. I was hanging out with my friend last night, hanging out with two of my friends last night, and they were like, Bruce, you always get into these philosophical conversations. And in my older age, these are the things that I've done. And I find real joy in engaging in conversations where I can consistently learn and find out about new stuff. And that's where the idea of the podcast came, of interviewing people and kind of connecting with different people from all different walks of life from all over the world. But like I said, it wasn't until last year that I finally decided to pull the trigger on the show. And it all came about because of this woman, Marilyn Notmonroe, that I was following on social media. She had such a fascinating life, and she had so much energy. And I'm drawn to people that have energy because they have fun in life, and I want to have fun in life. And I was following her on her Instagram and seeing her personality, and we became semi DM buddies. And I said, hey, the more I talked to her, the more I found out fascinating parts about her life. And I was like, hey, if I had a podcast, would you come on for an interview? She was like, yeah, of course I would. That was all I needed. I went out and got the equipment that day. And 75 episodes later, along with multiple episodes on our Patreon page with Talking Straight Ish and After Hours Uncensored. So I would say it's probably well over 130 total episodes between Unsolicited Perspective Podcasts and our episodes on Patreon. We finally got her in for the interview. It's been a year in the making. Not to put pressure on the actual interview. I think the interview is really good because she's just a really entertaining person. You can find her on Instagram at Notmonroe 2.0. If you have any trouble finding her, just go on our Unsolicited Perspective page, and we follow her and she follows us. So you can follow her, and on there is her link tree where you can find all of her information. You'll also be able to find our information on our website and our bio and in the description section of both the audio and video podcast. To just follow, I encourage you to follow her. She, as you'll tell from this interview, she has a very gregarious personality. She's sweet. She's kind. She's lived a very interesting life. And like I said, she is the person to really get me going as far as that final push that I needed to start the podcast. And you never know, this is a lesson in life. You never know how your actions affect people. By her simply saying yes, that's how this finally got started, right? Who knows if I would have started it by this point if she hadn't said yes. So when you're nice to people, when you compliment people on their outfit, or you say that's a really insightful thing that you said, you never know what that will do for their life. Something as simple as, hey, you look great today. You don't know that person might have been working out hard and they might have been getting ready to quit, because getting fit is a constant struggle. And maybe they didn't think that they were changing their body, but by you saying something that pushes them further forward to keep on working hard. It could be anything in life. And this is a prime example of what Marilyn did for me to finally get this podcast going. So I will say, for all those people that are listening, and when I said we're doing 75 episodes, and I have to thank Marilyn for it, not only are we have people listening and watching us from all across the country, all over North America. We haven't got South America yet, but in Europe and Asia and Africa and Australia, we have listeners. So I want to thank all of you listeners out there, all of you people that's watching. I want to thank all the people that's helped me in the podcast. Some benefactors that have helped to get the equipment that we needed to continue on producing good content. I want to say thank you to my sister for doing the sibling happy hour and helping create a different version of the show that I didn't even imagine was possible. And also thank you to Marilyn for putting that battery in my back. But like I said, to all my listeners and watchers out there, we will be talking about mature subjects. There'll be a lot more cussing on this episode than there ever is on any of my other episodes. So if you're listening or you're watching around children, might not be the most appropriate show for them. So I just want to give that disclaimer before you guys listen and watch. But without further ado, here's my interview with Miss Marilyn Notmonroe. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really excited today. I told the story on the 50th episode of why I decided to finally start this podcast. And I said it was because of this person that is here right in front of me. She gave me the battery behind my back, and she didn't even realize that she was doing it because I felt like she had such a fascinating story. I said, hey, if I did a podcast, would you come on? She said, yes. Finally, I have her. This is Marilyn Notmonroe. She is a person that is all on social media. She's in the adult entertainment industry. She does a lot of things in her personal life with her hobbies, with dogs and animals. And we're going to learn all about that. But first and foremost, Marilyn, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I'm really excited about this.
Well, thank you for having me. Sorry it took me so long. I am just everywhere.
That's okay. Hey, look, it's better late than never, right?
Yes.
And so I'm excited to get going. So I'm going to jump right into it. Can you tell me a little bit about your background? Where were you born? What's your family like, and all that good stuff?
I am French, and I moved to the States when I was a kid. I have just like my immediate family here, my mom and my grandma, pretty much. Yeah, that's really my maternal family. I have brothers. I'm very close knit to my family. Mm-hmm. We do I'm with them a lot. Okay. That's pretty much it. But so we moved here, and when I was 7, 8, it honestly depends on who you ask. I don't really know. My mom, my grandma, they have different stories. And yeah, I grew up here, so I'm French. I feel like I'd be a lot hotter if I was this French, this French woman that had the accent, but I don't, unfortunately. I don't have the French accent, and I grew up here, so I'm Americanized, but I was raised a lot different than most people because my family's European.
So obviously French are from France. So your family must speak French, obviously, because they're from there and they have the accents. You said you're Americanized, but how much of your mother and you said your grandmother, how much have they become Americanized since moving here? Because you've been here, you probably don't even remember France.
I remember France. I mean, I went back every summer. So until I was a teenager, and then I had to stay in the United States and be cool with my American friends. Because at 14, 15, you don't think about the luxuries of being able to go over to Europe every summer, or how lucky I was. But yeah, so I remember a lot of France, and I do have a lot. I mean, I speak it 24/7. It's literally how I speak English. People that know me, I get tongue tied, and I'll be like, did I just say that in French or English? I have no fucking idea. Because I'm back and forth between the two. But yeah, so but I'm very Americanized, and they are, but they're not. My mom still can't say 1, 2, tree. She's 1, 2, tree. And my grandma, I can't even, I don't like to speak to her in English because it gets on my nerves. I'm you're taking too, it's too long, Jesus. So, yeah, they're not as Americanized at all. pretty much.
I try not to be salacious, but I don't want to get too deep into your family because you don't want to give too much
Oh,
of your
yeah, no.
background and your private information. So we're not going to dig too deep into that. We just want to give a little context of your background. And I didn't even know that you were French. So that's something that I learned. I'm probably going to learn a lot more, even though I try to do some research, but I'm probably going to learn a lot more.
Yeah.
So let's talk about growing up, going back and forth between Europe and the summers, being here. What was it like growing up and being in high school and going to Europe during the summers, experiencing that life, and then coming back to the States, not really appreciating going to Europe, but just seeing the different cultures? What did you learn and pick up? Did you see that America was a little bit more conservative and France was a little bit more progressive, or did you not recognize that at all, or was that not the case? I know I just threw a lot at you, so pick and
I
choose
mean,
what you want to answer.
honestly, I had so much like social anxiety as a like kid here, even though like I guess I hung out with like the cool kids. Like in France, it was like I was so cool because I lived in America. I was like a little celebrity. Like there's Marilyn, and she lives in America during the year, and she comes here every summer. So it was like awesome. And then here I was like this shy girl, fucking eating her nails all the time. So
Why do you think that was the case? Do you think it was because you were treated differently every time you went back each summer?
I mean, well, I was a kid there, and I think here, the United States, it's like it's supposed to be. It's so cool. Back then, it was so cool to be from here, to live here. But like, I mean, it's very people are very judgmental, and it's like if you're different, they don't like that. And as kids, like they look at you weird, like and it's like I have an accent, like I don't speak like y'all, even though like I mean we're all kids or whatever. I can still talk English, but I'm saying stuff differently, or I'm slower on my words, or I'm saying like. I mean, like I said, my mom, like 1, 2, tree. And it's like everybody laughs at you.
Right.
So it's growing up like that, I guess. So it's like people just, they don't understand what they don't know. And I was nervous, I guess. Or not even nervous, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to not be like every other white kid at my school.
Did that change as you got older, as you get out of elementary and you get into middle school and high school? Did that change at all, or were you always, because I'm looking at you now, you're this outgoing personality, and for everybody, if you follow her on TikTok, on Instagram, you see this personality that's just comes through the screen. So I'm trying to figure out at what point that personality came out and you weren't shy anymore.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Like, I feel like I was shy, but I wasn't in high school. My mom says I was a mean girl. I don't think that I really was.
Hold
I
on,
think I was
hold
like
on. What?
normal. I tried to be this American. I tried to be something that I wasn't. That's just the reality of it. So, like, sometimes I think I would have been more, I probably was outspoken. Like, you wouldn't have been able to tell that, like, inside I was, like, having a panic attack all the time. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. We're all in our heads. We just don't want to be honest about it. Like, and I mean, even all the time, anything I do, trust me, as outgoing as I might look, like, I'm always in my damn head.
Well, I think that's everybody. I remember interviewing Rick Clemens. Matter of fact, it's a good thing that I remembered. I'm going to be on his podcast this week. Rick Clemens is a coach, is a life coach, and he talked about he came out later in life, and he talked about becoming your authentic self, where you're not in your head. And I was like, yeah, I'm not even that yet. I try to be, but that's a constant evolution and growth process. So yeah, you might not be shy anymore as a kid, but to still have those things when you're in your head, that's an evolution. I mean, but at the same time, you're not a shy little kid anymore.
Yeah, no. I became bolder. I mean, I think at a certain age you stop giving a fuck. That's just the reality of it about a lot of stuff, and you're just like, whatever.
Okay, so after high school, what did you do?
I became a stripper.
Okay. Did we call it a stripper? Do we call it an exotic dancer? What do we
Well,
call
hold
it?
on. First, I had a regular job. Like, let's start. I did do regular work, but then I met strippers, and they're like, "You're cute. You should try." And I was like, "Nah, I'll never do that shit ever." Like, no. And then, I like moved out on my own, and I was like, "Shit, I need some money, like more money."
Uh-huh. So how
And
old were you?
I was 18 the first time that I danced.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the job that you were doing before that where they saw you and was like, because I'm thinking of the movie The Players Club where she was like in a shoe store and the girls was like,
I mean, honestly, it's pretty fucking much like that. So
okay. So they just discovered you and was like, you should get this money.
I was actually still in high school, like not even like yeah, so still in high school. I was 17. And it was like probably April, like before I before I turned 18, and they what was it? Breakfast restaurant. Middle of the night. I was working the late night shift, the graveyard shift on the Friday night. So like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And they came.
Wow. And they came in and said, you be perfect.
Yes, and I was still like a little girl, and I was like, this can't be real. Like I remember rushing back to the cook and being like, yo.
So what goes through your head? Because at first you said there's no way that I'm not going to do this. And then you say, well, I'm trying to get some money. So what was that switch that was on in your head to be like, to go from, no, I'm not going to do this to, yeah, okay, let me give this a shot.
Oh, I started partying. When I turned 18 and I like started going to clubs and all that kind of stuff, I was like, hold on, I go out and I drink and I fucking dance on top of bars. Like, and do what I did a wet t-shirt contest. I was like, I just did this shit and won like a couple $100. I'm like, why not?
Okay, so all right. So were you adventurous before you turned 18? Or was it, I'm partying now, this is fun?
I worked a lot. So like I
Mhm.
had 2 jobs and I was in school.
You
So
had time, hold on. Excuse me. You had 2 jobs in high school?
yes, and then yeah. I worked.
Whew.
I had a little Mexican, like a keto, I worked at Qdoba's, a few shifts a week, and I also waitress at like this breakfast restaurant every weekend, and yeah, so
Why work so much at such a young age?
because I had shit going on.
Can we get into what you
No,
had
my
going on?
mom
Did
was
you?
a single mom, and she worked a
Mhm.
lot, and she had like with her, like it's just there was things that like, so I helped where I could, and then also to
Mhm.
have money myself. Like my mom couldn't like really afford to pay for all the extra stuff, so I worked to
Yeah.
like have that extra stuff. I mean, and I feel like that's kind of normal. A lot of people don't see that, but it's a normal thing.
Um, do you have siblings? Are you the oldest?
I am the oldest.
That okay. That's all making sense. You
Yeah.
took on, so I'm not going to try and put words in your mouth. Do you think that you took on a parent role? I know in my family, and my dad has actually reached out to me recently and apologized for this. But I was like, you did what you had to do. There was no reason to apologize. I essentially became the third parent because I'm the oldest, and I was the babysitter. Because my
You do
parents had to work.
everything.
Yeah, you do everything. I didn't have to go and work, um, but if they needed me to do that, that's something that I would have done. So hearing that explains a lot about your hustle now.
Yeah.
We'll get into your hustle later, but that explains a lot. Like you've been a go-getter since you were allowed to legally work.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I always worked and I like to make money and everything like that. It's just that then when I, found out that you could party and make money at the same time, it was like, and I became 18. I went out on my own and I fucking, like, like I was like, freedom! Holy shit!
Right.
Because I helped my mom as much as I could. My mom was like, she busted her ass.
Mhm.
Like she busted her ass. And granted, most of the time, like, it wasn't like that. But the last year, my mom became a single mom, and so it was like it was us.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so you enter in the world of exotic dancing. What is that like as an 18-year-old going into that world? Because I'm sure there's a difference between going and partying and doing wet t-shirt contests
Yes.
than going into the strip club. So
Um,
what was that experience like for you?
it's something that I drank, and I didn't even realize that, like, you know, I was using that to, like, at first it was all fun, and then it's like, this becomes your life.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a handbook for how to be a good stripper or what to expect, because you never know. It's like, I mean, trust me, it was fun. Like, I remember one time I found like $800 just randomly under my bed, and I had no fucking clue that it was there. I'm like, holy shit! I was making the bed. I'm like, this is fucking dope. And it's just like, and stuff like that happened a lot because, like, you're not paying attention. You're just making such fast cash.
Mm-hmm.
And being so young, and it's like, a lot of the time it's fun, a lot of the time it's partying, but there's also moments where it's like, shit, you know, I could have fucked myself up here.
How so?
Just being drunk and like doing like bachelor parties, like just going and putting yourself in situations, like, you know, with other strippers, older ones, because like I was the baby, like literally I was young, like the girls I were hanging out with were 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I kind of followed their league, and I was pretty much, now looking at it, I was kind of like a little pawn, like, but you don't see that as a lot of times, like, oh, I'm gonna bring my homegirl like to come dance, and it's like, you're a young little girl. But just like even in the like club or whatever, it's like you see it in the movies, the younger girl that they introduce to everybody, that like talks to everybody, the cute sweet one. So it's just, it taught me to like pay attention, and it taught me a lot about people.
When you say pawn, do you mean like they, like, what do you mean? Like they
So
were trying
like,
to
you
take
know, like
advantage
the
of you?
friend, like the one that it's like you go with the group of guys, and it's like they're trying to like, they're the strippers, everybody knows them, but now you have a new like little friend to introduce, like the dope boys in the club, like the one that you're gonna introduce, and it's like, I just want to have fun, so I'm like, yeah, throw money on me.
Look, ain't nothing wrong getting money thrown on me. I wish I could get some money thrown on me.
But it's just like being like the fun one, and like you don't even like, you're just, it's just funny to look at it now, because it's like you're having fun, but like in reality, at that age, I should have been doing that, and I sure as hell should have been hanging out with like, you know, older women or anything like that, or older girls that had been in the game for a lot longer, because they don't tell you about like, you know, to be careful with somebody, or like men try you. They try to take advantage. Like, men are fucking assholes in that kind of line of work.
Hold on, to speak for the
But a lot of them are a lot of fun. That's the thing. It's like,
okay,
90% it's fun, and it's a lot of fun, but it's easy to get like lost into it. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get at. You get lost into it, and when you get lost into it, you can easily get taken advantage of.
Okay.
And that's what you have to be careful. And it's not even like I'm talking about anything bad. I'm just saying in general, like, men will just try you because they see you as like being a dumb idiot. So like trying to get you to go home with them and stuff like that, even though it's just partying.
Right. Okay. Okay. So you're in the club. You're dancing 18. How long were you in the club? Like from 18 till when?
So I stopped dancing at 27.
Okay. So you did it 9 years.
Yes.
In
Off
that
and
time.
on.
Off and on. Okay. So what would you do? My question was going to be, you say you were making this fast cash. Were you saving it? Because I was a bartender at a young age, and I blew through hundreds of thousands of dollars just because you're living the fast life.
Yes.
So was it a situation where you said off and on, where you would say, okay, I made my money, I'm about to get out, and then you would try to live the same lifestyle that you were living when you were making all that money, and then be like, nah, I got to go back because I'm not making enough money?
No, more like, I mean, like I said, my first like few years of stripping, I partied a lot. Like, and it was just like, it was a whole new world. So you're partying, you're having fun, and that's the thing too. I'm like the cute girl, all the dope boys. Like, I'm dating different older dope boys, whatever. Like, my world is whatever. But I realize like I'm not living how I should be like living. I'm drinking all the time, whatever, all that kind of stuff. So I stopped. I actually went back to my first job, started waitressing again. And then I think one day I got fucked up with my friend, like, and we were like drinking and everything like that. I was like, I'm not going back to work. Like, why? Because she was still stripping. It was my roommate. She was still stripping. And it's like, I'm watching her come back in with all this money. And I'm like, why the fuck am I going? Slaving away.
Right.
And you're going to the club and like coming back with all this fucking money, and I'm not. So
you go back, when you go back and forth, because you said you did it a couple of times,
well,
right?
yeah,
like
it's always the same. It's like, all get, and I'm like, I'm done with this, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I start working my ass off again, and I'm like, just like, nah, I want to go back and do that. And plus, it was just a lot of, like I said, drinking, having fun. Like, and I was like, screw that, I want to go have fun again.
Right. Okay, so how do you transition from being in the club and dancing to going to some of the harder core uh, adult activities on camera? I'm trying not to say the P word because I don't want to get edited off of YouTube because it's on. The
Are we
P
allowed
word
to?
is corn. Yeah, you know what? This is an explicit episode. I already told him in the beginning segment, you can't listen to this with kids around. My audience knows I give disclaimers on the really explicit episodes. So I already gave the disclaimer. So you can cuss. Maybe don't say MF, but you can
Okay.
cuss and say,
That's like
and
my
say,
favorite word, too. Like,
it's my favorite word too.
I mean, it's literally the best. It's like, screw the effer. You got to say the.
Yeah. Well, my favorite cuss word is the B word, but I was talking to my sister and I was like, I don't think I can say the B word anymore. She was like,
Why?
well, and I think it's derogatory towards women.
I don't know. I
Even
think
if
it's
I'm
in the
not saying it
context
to a woman.
it. I feel like it's kind
Yeah,
of, because I call other women the B word all the time. I'm like, hey, bitch, what's up?
you can. I cannot. You can. I cannot. All right, we're getting off topic.
All
All
right.
right. So how did you transition from the strip club to going in front of the camera?
I messed around with it a little bit in my like early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little bit of porn then while I was dancing, but dancing was funner because, again, I was a dancer, fast money. Like, no, you don't have to be up early in the morning. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Like, it made more sense to be a stripper than to do porn. And
So to shoot scenes, you have to get up early in the morning?
for like professional shoots, fuck yeah.
I've been on a set and I was flabbergasted on what it actually was. I was like, oh, this is like legitimately like shooting a movie. Y'all got to take breaks and all that stuff. I thought it was just a camera and you just go. And it's no, that's not what it is. But now you're telling me you got to get up early too?
Well, yeah, you gotta do
Gosh.
makeup, get to location, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it's a lot of work, and I was a dancer, so I had like it's just like it was hard for me to get booked as well too. Because dancing, my schedule, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Did a few scenes, and I never pursued it further than that, just because like after I tried it out, I just, like I said, stripping was better, and it was just like harder for me to get scenes. I was also like, I'm really pretty now, but back then I was overlooked, and I was like, I'm thick for like I was fat, like I was a fat white girl.
Okay. Okay. When you describe yourself as fat,
I wasn't
what
fat.
do you mean?
No. Oh, like listen. Black men love me. White men I was like the fat one. Like even the stripper, like I thrived in black strip clubs, but I did not do good in white strip clubs. Like,
Huh. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you do a couple of scenes. You said you do a couple of scenes, but it wasn't really fitting your vibe. How was the money? Was if it wasn't getting up early and all the other stuff, was
oh,
the
if it
money
wasn't
comparable?
that, I mean, a for sure $1,000 to get fucked. Like, yeah, we're good. Like legally, like that seems so much better. Like, you know, but it's like it just wasn't fitting my vibe. But I mean, it made sense. I mean, it's literally like you go for a day's work, you get up at 7, you're home by 5, you make $1,100, and yeah, you don't think after that. You just keep it pushing. Like that's it. That's your day.
So, like, how did you get in?
I had a friend who did porn. She passed away. I met her agent. When so I met her agent, and I did my first shoot through him. And then when I was dancing, I met a guy in the strip club who was a big porn star back in the day, and he was contracted with Bang Bros. So
I know Bang Bros.
yeah. So he got me into like my first like my 2 shoots where like I was like starring myself.
Okay, that's cool. We're not gonna get into specifics, ladies and gentlemen, why I know Bang Bros. Let's just say that there was a time where I don't know, they might still do it, where they used to ride around in the van, and it was like the first reality I put that in quotations for everybody in the audio platform. The first reality porn where it was like they're picking up girls, and I remember I had to be like, I don't know, this is 20 years ago, and I remember showing it to my boy, and I was like, I think this is real, and they're like, no, this is not real. No, it could be real. So you were doing Bang Bros, and you said you were introduced by a guy that found you at the club, so there was no connection to your friend. And once again, no, I want to apologize for the loss of your friend. I know.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing, and you were young, and we don't have to get into detail about that if you don't want to talk about that. But I just want to give you my condolences because I know that pain
Thank you.
stays with you.
All the way. I still have
Yeah.
her dog. Well, my grandma has her dog, so like, you know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So this person is not through the agent. This is somebody that just saw you in a club and was like, yo, I'm about to put you on.
Yep, pretty much.
And so you do a couple of scenes with Bang Bros, and the money was good. It's just the hours don't really work for you.
The hours don't work, and also, I mean, at the time, it's really not consistent if you don't have an agent or somebody pushing for you. And I mean, I had like, again, I did have an agent per se, but I was like, he really hooked me up because of my best friend, who, she was like a skinnier white girl, and then I was more thick. So there's only so many, like, you know, shoots that I can get myself. Like, people, like, especially, like, these kinds of, like, who his connections were with. Like, it's more of, like, you're talking about in the early 2000s. So, you know, it's, like, just, or I guess late, like, the 10s or whatever it is. But, I mean, they still, it's, like, right around the time the Kardashians came out. So, like, thicker white girls were not it yet. And we were still in the whole, like, you know, skinny white girls. No asses.
Oh, well, they was in, if you going all the way back to Thong Song and
yes, well, maybe it's more like a demographic, you know, like I said, I thrive better in an urban strip club, in a more predominantly black strip club than I did in a white strip club. That was just, so with the, like, porn agencies and stuff like that, like, that's what I fit more towards. So he got me in with Bang Bros, but I mean, the shoots that I did, they fit towards that demographic.
Yeah. And so you did a couple of scenes and you stopped, and we're going to get into in the second part that you got back into the scene, but you're doing things a little bit differently. But before we get into that stuff, I want to get into a little bit about what was going on in your life during that pause. All right, Marilyn, I want to take a pause on the porn.
You said the word, you said the P word.
I know I did. You know what? It's okay. It's all right. Look, you know what? I do have enough time to do post-production, but I probably won't do it. I'll probably just leave it in. And if YouTube kicks it off, then I'll go and re-edit it. It's not that big of a deal. People on there say way worse stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. But I don't want to talk about solely your porn. I want to talk about your life, because when I discovered you, I had no idea about your past of doing adult scenes, and you currently are doing adult scenes, but you were bartending, taking care of a lot of dogs, and taking care of a lot of plants, and doing gardening and fixing up stuff around the house. So tell me a little bit about your life in between the two adult scene phases.
All right. Well, you know, relationships, failed relationships, obviously. But pretty much met a guy. He was a piece of shit. Broke up with him. That was like around the time that I quit, like all of that. And then I was working a regular job. I was serving, and I was doing like working at a law office too. And I started bartending, and like really enjoyed bartending. So I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do, is be a bartender. And I went to culinary school too. So went to culinary school.
See, these are the stuff that I want to talk about. See, when I said what happened and you left high school, that's the culinary school too. Like, I don't just want to know about all the sex stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, culinary school was around. That was like my last like 2 years of dancing, you know, like I just like I did
Okay.
stuff. So like I said, I would leave and I would come back. It was just, but
Mm-hmm.
so then I all the way like I wanted probably to like I was thinking of having kids, you know, like everybody you're getting at that age, like I want to get married, I want to settle down, I want to have kids, blah blah blah, all
Mm-hmm.
that shit. So I get into a relationship. I'm bartending at this bar, and then I get a job at this restaurant, and I go there, and I'm like cocktail waitressing, and I'm making such good money, like for a single woman who's almost in her 30s. But I mean, just cocktail waitressing, I was averaging like $80K a year, so it was like fucking, it was great.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I'm working
good.
5 days a week, like it was, and I loved it. Like I had the time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Just working, like all I did was work, but I loved it because it was good money and it was simple. And then I had issues with PCOS, so I was like in my relationship and I started having a lot of hormonal issues.
So I see you post that a lot on your Instagram
I do.
and in your Instagram stories. Can you explain to people what that is? Because you give a lot of informative information about that.
So polycystic ovarian syndrome, I'm honestly learning new shit every day, and it's like it's it never stops. Like it's always something with it. But for me, it's pretty much like for me, my issue is insulin resistance, which causes like hormonal issues. And my testosterone to like rise. So when I was probably after I got my boobs done, I gained a lot of weight, and that's when my body started going like out of whack. So I had like hair growing in places that it shouldn't have. I was breaking out really bad. My feet were tingling all the time. Like I didn't know what the hell was wrong. You go on Google and like feet tingling all the time, and it was like signs of diabetes. And I'm like, I'm not even that big. Like what the hell? I'm like 150 pounds. Like what the? How can I have diabetes? And just a bunch of issues like high blood pressure, all kinds of stuff. So I don't really know how to describe it because it's just like it's if you have it, you have it. But it's about ovaries, cysts in your ovaries. Just a lot of shit.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, all of Marilyn's social media accounts will be on the description of the page, will be on the website. I gave it to you in the first part, the first segment. Follow her because she gives a lot of good information about this, and as well as just funny and does funny skits as well. So I want to go back because there's a question because you said failed relationships, and that's all I have is failed relationships. Everybody has failed relationships. How did your working in the strip club and doing scenes have any impact on relationships at all?
Yes, it had an impact on my self-worth, and not the men that I dated love to throw that shit in my face and make me feel like like who's gonna want you because you were a stripper, you did this, and it's like, or you were in adult movies, like you're nothing. And I had low self-worth for myself, like even though I knew that I pretty much blossomed. Like that's what I was getting at. Is that like even though I had PCOS and everything and all this kind of stuff, I was blossoming. Once I figured out that I had a hormonal issue, I got healthy. I stopped eating crap. I quit smoking cigarettes. Like I mean, I got my boobs done. I glowed up.
Okay.
And I stopped like allowing, like I broke up with the guy that I was with, but we were still like we were stuck in a lease, and like just the shit that he would say and everything like that. I'm like, bro, I know that I'm better than this. Like this is not my life. Like this is not what the hell I'm gonna settle for. Like this is not it. And so I had like these plans. I was about to go back to school because I was dealing with a lot of stuff with my body. So I wanted to go back to school, but do medical aesthetics because I like cleared up my skin. Told you I had hair growing out of place. Like, there's just shit was crazy. And I figured out like just by looking at women, I could be like, yo, you have hormonal issues because I was seeing the signs. I did so much research on my own shit, like that I could just see signs of like somebody having something similar to me. And a lot of people, they don't know that they have hormonal issues, but it'll be somebody else. Like when I was getting waxed, it was my like the esthetician, honestly, that pointed out to me that I might have PCOS, and she like explained to me. So then I did research, and it's like the people that you go to cover up stuff and stuff like that are going to be the ones that can see it before, people that see you all the time and people that know about it. Like if you just think something's okay because you go to your doctor and I'm like, dude, I have like a couple of hairs growing out of my chin, and they're like, that's normal. Then you're like, okay, if the doctors don't listen to us half of the time unless you're like actually dying. So you just kind of brush shit off. And if it wasn't for her, I probably like, I mean, I would have figured out I don't know, because I was never overweight, so they never wanted to test me until like I went there like freaking out, and I was like, bro, y'all are gonna test me because this is not normal. Like my body should not be doing the things that it's doing.
Yeah, there is a problem with our healthcare system. I'm not going to go on my soapbox and start talking about that.
Oh no, it's horrible, but it's okay. So I pretty much just, blossomed, and started loving myself for who I was and got out of that relationship. But then COVID happened.
Yes. Yeah, COVID
and
happened.
All my plans changed with going to where I was going to go to this medical aesthetic school, because it wasn't where I lived. So I would have to move away, because it was like, I didn't want to just like go to a trade school for aesthetics and then have to do like, more courses and stuff. I was like, no, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't want to put makeup on people. I want to do skin. So so I didn't do that. But I did start working at a bar.
Okay.
Because my job.
And the bar stayed open during COVID?
Yes, well, where I was working at cocktail serving. So I went from making all this money, but I was in this shitty relationship, and I was paying pretty much like all the bills and all this kind of stuff. And like everything was predominantly like, I mean, my money, even though I made it, it went away quickly. And the stuff that
you were in 100% of a toxic relationship. Not only was he talking down to you at every chance he get, he wasn't even providing no funds.
I mean, we did split like the bills for the most part. But when we broke up, we lived together for like 5 months while we were broken up. And then it was like, I covered like the rent, he paid like the household bills and all that kind of stuff, because I made more money. But I couldn't stay there anymore with him, because it got like really toxic, even though we had our own separate rooms and stuff like that. So right before COVID, luckily we didn't know COVID was going to happen or a shutdown, but I moved out and went to my mom's. And I thought that our lease was going to break, or our lease was supposed to be over in May, but it wasn't. So we got stuck in a lease, but I was paying everything. And then we were like it was just bad. I got stuck like handling, because he was like, fuck that. He wasn't going to pay. He's like, it's in your name, so it doesn't matter. So like I got stuck handling everything, even though I wasn't there. And then the lease extended because they had to move us units or some shit, like because of a leak that was their fault, but they started the lease over. So like it got extended for like months, and I'm like, dude, I'm not even there. So and I wasn't making money like that. Like that was the worst part. Like I wasn't at the bar at the time. I was where I was cocktail serving. That's where I stayed at. And I decided to stay on and not, like, they gave us options. Like, they're like, if you want to go home, collect unemployment and not get sick, like, we understand. And I'm like, no, I'm going to work, because that's just the way that I was raised. Like, I'm going to work, and I'm a team player. And you guys, like, I mean, I made a lot of money. Those people became my family, like, even though really they're not.
Right. I mean, hey, sometimes blood ain't always your family, and family ain't always your blood.
Exactly. But I mean, no, this is just like a job. Like I dive myself into stuff, like, and so I dive myself into working like for other people, making other people money. And I was the best that I was. Like I made that place the most money. Like I think I sold like $350,000 worth of food and alcohol that last year, like 2022. Like I was their middleman. Like I was literally pushing the shit.
He was
I was number one though. I was the best of the best. Like I loved it.
Well, tell me about your hobbies.
My hobbies.
When we took a break in between, you were telling me you got 4 animals right now.
Well, that goes with COVID, so that's where I was getting to. That all happened with COVID. So
okay.
So I was working at that place, but I quit and went to a bar because I wasn't making money during COVID. But also during COVID, I had my one dog before it started, my one little black Pomeranian, and I decided he needed a friend. So I got him a cat.
Okay.
Because I was working a lot. So I was like, he needs a friend. So he's not alone. Right. He has separation anxiety. Well, then my mom got herself a random dog.
Okay.
And then she realized she didn't need that. Like, she was like, this is more than I bargained for. But no, like, this dog had separation anxiety. So my mom knows that I love dogs. So she was like, hey, called me. And then I ended up with 2 dogs and a cat. But then the cat was sad because his best friend now had a new best friend. So I was like, I have to get another cat. And there so happened to be a trash kitty. So I was like, perfect. Look at that. And
Wait a minute, a trash kitty, a kitty that was just in the trash,
yes,
and you rescued the
Donald.
kitten.
Well, I didn't rescue it, but I got it from a rescue. Because I started working before COVID. I was like helping out with this organization to trap, neuter, and release cats.
You know what? You got 11 jobs that I'm trying to keep up with. Okay, so hold on. You were, let's list these. Before COVID,
Yes.
you
So,
were the cocktail waitress and you was helping out with
well, I
rescue
lived in
animals.
this apartment complex, and there was feral cats. Well, there was a bunch of stray cats, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, this isn't gonna work. So then I started working with this trap, neuter, and release thing to trap the cats, neuter them,
Okay.
and release them. But what turned into like this one stray cat that would come to my apartment turned into the neighbors like seriously hating me because I fed cats like outside everywhere. I was doing all this stuff. Like, dude, stray animals on Facebook. Like, I would literally like see something and I would reach out because at the time I was making I was comfortable. I was making good money. Like, I had a care credit card. Like, you know,
You living it.
yeah. But I was like, I just wanted to help animals. Like, it hurt my heart to like scroll down Facebook and see this shit. I'm like, dude, we don't deserve animals. Like, people are so evil and no. So yeah, I just became like, my life literally became about animals. I think maybe because like I don't have kids or whatever, so like I dove into that. Yep. And even when I left the apartment and my ex was still there, I still would go back and feed the cat.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And for a good year after that, like after I moved out, I still went out there and I would feed the cats. Like, I'm telling you, the neighbors hated me. I had a Nest camera, so like I caught the shit that they would say.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I forgot to mention this at the top of the hour. This is part 1. This is a 2-part series for this interview with Miss Marilyn Monroe. Why would I not give her 2 parts when she's the catalyst of all of this? And just as we were talking, we just kept talking and talking and talking, and it was really an enjoyable conversation for me. So this is part 1. Look out for part 2 that'll be next week. And once again, I want to thank you for Marilyn for opening up and talking about her incredible journey as she shared with us, her French roots and her experiences growing up here in America and traveling back and forth between France and America when she was growing up. Her entrance into the entertainment industry, starting out as a stripper and then getting into porn and going back and forth between getting out of sex work and then back in sex work, her various activities, working for being a cocktail waitress, her various jobs. She's a hustler, y'all. She is a hustler. She is somebody that has a very inspiring story because like she's a part of that pull up and grind personality that everybody can learn from and get information from and get inspiration from. I want to thank her for talking about PCOS. I think a lot of women out there don't know about PCOS. This gives them a little insight into PCOS. If you're having issues that she was describing, maybe that's something that you should bring up to your doctor because she is absolutely right. Doctors don't listen to us. Megan McCurran even brought that up in one of my previous episodes that doctors don't listen. You need to express to them what is going on with you so that they pay attention and do all the tests necessary to find out what could be wrong with her. And as you know, as you could tell from her story, her finding out what actually was affecting her physically helped improve her life. And she looks great. She's in great shape. And she credits that all to finally understanding what it was physically that was going on inside of her body and addressing that issue. Talking about just the darker side of the sex industry. We're going to get into more of what she's doing now and how she feels about the sex industry currently. But just to give a little teaser, she has more control over what's going on. She's older, she's wiser, she's more knowledgeable. So she'll give a little advice about people interested in entering the sex work industry, entertainment, whether you're a stripper. I don't like saying stripper, I say exotic dancer. Whether you're exotic dancer, or if you get into sex work, starting the OnlyFans, or if you go all the way into porn. I think that she gave some really, really good advice. And everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. Whether you're listening to us through our audio podcast, or if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, if you follow us on Instagram and on TikTok, and even a little bit of the stuff that we do on Twitter. Once again, you can find her at Notmonroe 2.0 on Instagram. You can search it on Twitter or X now, TikTok. If you can't find her, go to our Instagram page. She's a follower and we follow her. And in her profile is a link tree to all of her links. Once again, you can find that information in our description on both the audio and video podcast. But until next time, as always, thank you, and I'll holla. Thank you for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and donate. Donations help us keep giving you this free content each and every week. Until next time, Audi 5000. Peace.